Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Good morning, fellow fantasy football freaks. It's me, the TyRant, having a little breakfast in bed, getting ready for the day. Thank you for joining me. Maybe you're getting ready for work or something. Maybe you're taking me to the shower with you. Hey, you do you. I don't care. Anyway, good to see you all. Got my breakfast here. Got a little keto waffle because I'm on the keto diet. It's not the same as regular waffles, but it's all right. It works. And then I've got some strawberries here, honeydew melon. I could have a little bit on the keto diet, just not too much. Got my coffee. Here we go. Now I'm ready to start the day. So here we go, freaks. Welcome to Thursday BnB. Come snuggle up here next to your old pal, the TyRant, and let's talk about the Thursday night game between the Seahawks and the Rams. Before we do that real quick, I want to thank you all for helping us get to 370 subscribers so far. We're almost at our 400 goal, and that's not even due till October 26th. Good on you, everyone. Thank you so much. But don't get lazy just because we're almost there. Keep hitting subscribe if you haven't yet, because if we get there by Sunday, I'm going to up the ante a bit. You'll see. And the only way you're going to find out how is if we get there. So subscribe. And this right here is very important. Listen up, fellow fantasy football freak army. We need more likes on the videos. If you like what you see, you tell me, you're like, hey, TyRant, I love this video. I love this episode. All right, that's great. Thank you so much for that feedback, that information. But what I need for you to do is just click the little like button, the little thumbs up there. Just give me a thumbs up. It's all good. We need 10% likes, or Facebook has a little hitsy fit. Just takes a couple seconds. Thank you so much. Oh, and don't forget, if you sign up for my Patreon right now, you're going to get 20 entries into my Grandprize Giveaway, where I'll be giving away a stitched jersey of the player of your choice. Along with that, of course, you get one-on-one roster help, advice, help with trades, sit and start, all of that, plus exclusive content. I've got my rankings coming out later today, and you can only see that if you're a Patreon member. There's going to be other exclusive articles, videos, and content. You get all of that, plus your entries into the Grandprize Giveaway. All that for $5 a month. That's a pretty damn good deal. You can cancel at any time. With my help, you're not going to want to cancel. Another thing you get is a shout out. And I'm going to give my shout out today to my buddy Mikey. He's all over those fantasy football pages on Facebook. So if you see him on there, say hey. And he'll probably just ask you a fantasy football question. That's all he ever does. Nah, I'm telling you, the guy's an addict, but that's what we love here. He signed up with me last year. I turned his trash team into a treasure team. Helped him bring home a championship. So of course he signed back up with me, and I can help you do the same. Thanks for your pledge, Mike, and thank the rest of you for your support. If you want to get in on that Grandprize Giveaway, just click my Patreon link down there in the description. But anyway, let's get into it. The Thursday edition of Benches and Bumps, Benches and Bumps, Benches and Bumps. Telling you, it's like a real waffle. Not really. No, it's okay though. If you're on keto and you can't have anything else, it's not bad. Yeah, you know what? It is. Oh God, I'm gonna have some sausage. Help get that taste out of my mouth. Anyway, I'm gonna start off with my bump of the game, Daryl Henderson. See, look, there he is, right there. Yeah, and he should be right there for you in your fantasy squad this week. Dude's been good for about 16 points per game. Pretty much right down the line, like barely fluctuating there. That's solid. Plus, he's even getting some receiving work under Matthew Stafford, and that helps him stay consistent. Now tonight, he's got the Seahawks D, who's given up the third most points to opposing running backs. Sure, they face some of the best like Taylor and Cook and Henry, but Henderson ain't no slouch. He's getting the carries, he's getting the passing game work, so he's a solid start. And what should be a good matchup for him. The Rams are going to score a lot, and Henderson should see his share of that too. So give Henderson the bump up to your starting lineup for tonight. Strawberry. I also like Matt Stafford and Russ Wilson tonight. I'm giving them a bump too. Like I said, this is going to be a battle between two teams who are divisional foes, pitting two talented QBs against each other in a shootout. See, that's why I got my gun mug. Bang, bang. These are both top 10 QBs that are going to have something to prove tonight. Iron sharpens iron. Oh, man. I guess I'm going to have a little bit more of this. I'll give it a shot. Still awful. Anyway, that's what I see going on tonight. A couple of sharp studs slicing and dicing each other's defenses apart. So I think they're both going to be a cut above this week. The Rams D was better last season, but they still let Russ put up about 20 points against them when Seattle was playing at home. And the Seahawks had a lot more injuries at that time. Plus, the Rams are actually giving up the 14th most fantasy points to opposing QBs this season. So it's not like they're stopping anyone anyway. And to that same tune on the other side, the Seattle D is giving up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing QBs. So I think Stafford is going to look great tonight too. He's seen a renaissance of his career since moving to LA. And tonight, he's just going to add to that stellar season he's having as he rains down touchdowns on those Rainy City bitch pigeons. So I think both these quarterbacks are worth a bump up. And believe it or not, I'm bumping up Bobby Trees. As the old saying goes, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And in nowhere is that phrase more true than in football. Woods let his coach know that he's not pleased with the lack of targets he's getting in the offense, as he gave the football a little sarcastic flip when he made his touchdown this past week. And that little flip spoke big volumes about his demeanor in this offense. And Coach McVay certainly took notice. And now Coach McVay has vowed to get Woods more involved in the offense, saying publicly that he's, quote, a leader and a captain, and they need to focus on getting him more opportunities. So I think he gets a few more targets in this one, because happy teams put up W's, and happy players make happy teams. And the happy players are the ones who are scoring fantasy points. See where I'm going with this? The Seahawks D is giving up the 11th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So I think this is a good game to take a shot on Bobby Trees. In a game where he should be getting more attention from his QB in the game plan. Don't be afraid to bump up Robert Woods this week. And my sleeper for this game is Alex Collins. Chris Carson popped up with a neck injury earlier this week on the injury report. And while I think he's going to play, they might rest him a little bit, and that's going to give Alex Collins some more opportunity. And he was impressive when given that opportunity last week, as he had 10 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown, tacking on 2 catches for 34 yards. If Carson ends up a scratch, this could be a big play for you. So if you've got room in your reserves, pick up Collins. And if Carson's out, start him up. Especially if you're in deeper leagues, or you've been depleted at running back, like you had both CMC and David Montgomery, something like that. Yeah, Collins could be a good play for you here. Keep your eye on him. Get on some more of the sausage. At least I can eat as much meat as I want, keto, right? Gotta love that. So now, let's flip the script here. Who do we bench? And to start off with, let's go back to Chris Carson. Now remember, he might not play, but if he does, I think they're gonna limit his snaps for 3 reasons. Number 1, he's hurt. Duh, weren't you listening a second ago? Number 2, Collins is doing a fine job holding his own, so they can afford to rest Carson and limit his snaps. Number 3, the Rams D is stout against the run. Now I know some of you will question me on that point, citing the fact that the Rams do give up the 13th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. However, I think those numbers are a little bit fluky. In week 1, they faced off against Montgomery, who before his injury was lighting it up this season. And in week 2, they took on a fearsome foursome of rushers from the Colts in JT, Hines, Mack, and Wentz. And week 3's numbers are a little inflated because both TB12 and Chris Godwin got a couple of fluky rushing touchdowns. And last week, they just got burned by a top-flight Cardinals rushing attack. Against the beat-up Chris Carson, though, I think they're going to have a lot easier time. And Aaron Donald and his defensive line are going to make sure Carson doesn't get anywhere. If he's that banged up, it's going to be easy for them. So if you've got some decent options to start instead, you might want to leave Carson on your bench. Now that all being said, I actually don't like the Rams D this week. Once again, it's going to be a shootout between 2 division rivals. So that means I ain't starting either defense. And that includes the Rams, whose D has not played up to what we're accustomed to each season. Now I do think they can handle a beat-up Chris Carson, But against Russell Wilson and his 2 stud wide receivers, that I'm not so sure about. And the Rams D is only the 19th highest scoring defense in fantasy. Plus, they're going to be facing the Seahawks in Seattle, and the Seahawks are giving up the 3rd fewest fantasy points to opposing defenses. Now, I ain't no math whiz, but if you add that all up, that equals don't start the Rams D this week. Look somewhere else and keep the Rams D, including Aaron Donald, on your bench. And yeah, a lot of you have been clamoring for Van Jefferson and likely picked him up off the waiver wire if you did. And I think that's generally a good move, but I wouldn't start him this week. These 2 teams are going to go toe-to-toe and blow for blow. And the Seahawks D can be had on the ground and through the air. Deep air. Like Deshaun Jackson deep. Hey, there's another sleeper for you. A little bonus there for you. You're welcome. Anyway, I think they stick to the core players tonight to make sure they get the job done. And they might sneak in a long bomb or 2 to D-Jax, but then I don't think that's going to leave too much left for Van Jefferson. I wouldn't risk it anyway, as you likely have better options this week. So stick with those studs, and let's play wait and see with Van, as you leave him down by the river on your bench. And finally, I got a bust alert on Tyler Higbee. Look at that hair. Does it look like I'm touching his hair? Does it? I don't know. We'll find out later on, I guess. But he's got such nice hair. But tonight, that's going to be the only thing about him that's nice. I don't see him putting up a nice game. He hasn't really yet this season. See, I thought that Stafford was going to make him relevant. But so far, not so much. He just hasn't been very fantasy viable. Ever. I mean, there's definitely 10 or 12 tight ends that I'm willing to start before him. Sure, he's going to have some good weeks now and again, like the next 3 weeks. Against the Giants and the Texans, and between the 2, a revenge game session for Matt Stafford against the Lions. Now those games, I can see Higbee doing a little bit better. And sure, maybe he puts it together in this game too, but he's a lot less likely. Now whether he puts it together this week or not, keep him for the next few weeks, because he should put up some points, and then trade him after that. Now, I'm not saying that you should sit him for some jamoke, but if you picked up Knox or Schultz in your waivers, I would definitely think about them. Otherwise, you're starting Higbee, but with caution. So there you go, ladies and gents. There's your Thursday benches and bumps. Hope that helps. Now I'm going to finish up this breakfast here, except for this disgusting keto waffle. Honestly, I'd rather starve than eat that shit. But I'll finish the sausage. I've got a little bit of fruit here. And of course, I got my coffee. So I'm going to be set up for the morning. And now that you're all set up, good luck this week. The next show is tomorrow night. It's the big one, benches and bumps, for the rest of the games. So have a good morning, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow night for benches and bumps. Until then, I'm out. Peace.